What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Move Better channel. I am your host, Dr. Joe, and this is John Pena-Serrata. Today, we're going to be talking about feet, shoes, and what kind of shoes are messing you guys up.
Oh,
messing you up.
That's touchy. That's a touchy subject right there.
All right.
Especially for the women.
Are you wearing heels? Are heels messing you up more? Are they causing you lower back pain? Are they causing you knee problems? Are they causing you ankle and foot issues? Well, we're going to be working with the whole chain today, and we're going to try to figure out how we can help you guys move better because you guys are wearing them way too damn much. So today we're going to be talking about different types of shoes and how shoes can really restrict your movement and your mobility. Now, I have a certain type of shoe. I have the Nike Metcons on.
I got the zero shoes, which is basically very minimal. There's not much padding on it, but it's really wide.
And on all over the social media today, especially with fitness athletes, they're all talking about barefoot running, barefoot shoes, toe spreaders, so on and so forth. So what's all the hype about, right? Why are we trying to teach people about this? Why are we trying to help people to get to shoeless and getting minimalist shoes to be able to work with the floor? Well, let's get to the start of it. In essence, your foot has so many different nerve endings that need to experience the world. And when we're taught at a young age to wear shoes for all of our activities, we end up almost limiting and decreasing the amount of sensation that our foot has the ability to communicate or experience with. And so we put socks on, we put shoes on, and it'll really, cramps our foot style, right? Right. So let's start with barefoot, right? The whole idea of wearing barefoot shoes or toe shoes or even toe spreaders is to allow freedom of our feet. Now, people say that they're so limited with control over the foot, the mobility and the flexibility. But have you ever seen those people that can actually grab and grip and write with their feet because that's all they have? We have the ability to do that. We just don't do it. We just don't train our body to be able to control that. One of the things that I do to talk when I talk to my patients and I work on assessing them, I want to see how much control they have over their foot, their toes, their ankle, and the chains moving all the way up the spine.
The unfortunate thing about the shoes is because if they are narrow or, some of us, we like the pointy ones or the ones that narrow in the front because it looks sleek.
Yeah.
It limits our feet's functionality, right?
Yeah.
The ability for it to move around. So Dr. Joe was saying he always looks at how much control you have with your toes. Well, with the shoes, it limits your toes to this position for the most part. And you're moving around and your toes are barely moving in that space. So obviously now you're creating this movement pattern with your toes. You take the shoes off, guess what? Your toes are still this way. Because you're wearing it the whole time, right? The whole time you're out. And so now you try to move them, and it still makes a lot of restriction.
Rigid movement.
Yeah. Right. Now, imagine how that affects the rest of your leg, your hips, maybe even up the and definitely up the chain, all right? Because if you have less movement here, stability, functionality, now you have the rest of the chain having to compensate for balancing, for running, for walking, while your toes were supposed to be able to move around, spread out, and actually feel the environment while we're walking, okay? Yep. So that can have a negative effect up the chain, and at times, you really got to look at the shoe and ask yourself, okay, how is the shoe limiting my movement and my mobility? And think twice about investing too much money on those type of shoes.
Now, when we talk about shoes, we're not just talking about heels. We're not just talking about women, for example, when we say heels, right? Because men, we know men wear heels too, right?
Yeah.
With those
all
dress
the
shoes.
Are all elevated.
Yeah, the elevated shoes, and they have the pointy type of shoes. They have soft heel types of shoes. They have what are those Skechers? Skechers came out with it with the rolling one.
Oh yeah.
Where it was supposed to make your butt bigger. And it was they utilized. You remember that? It came out for a while, and it was actually pretty popular in the fitness industry, where you started seeing this rolling pattern of the foot to allow for a better butt lift. And then that's what they marketed it as, was trying to do that. But it actually messed up a lot of people.
Yeah.
And even the soft heels, the big soft heels for people who suffer from plantar fasciitis or Achilles tendonitis, there's a simple Band-Aid that people put on, right? Which is an arch support, or they're immediately prescribed an arch support. They're immediately prescribed a softer heel when they run, when they do their exercises. It will allow you guys to get to where you guys need to go for a very short time. But again, we're not addressing the real issue. We're just addressing pain relief. And in another video, we talked about pain relief products, right? And that's what I call a pain relief product when we're utilizing soft-heeled shoes, something that's going to allow you to walk more on a pillow, and even those running shoes, right? Now, I'm not against running shoes, especially for people who have to run a specific amount of miles, and it's going to be kind of harder to do when you're doing barefoot running. You need a softer heel. You need, for the amount that you're going to be running a marathon, you need a soft cushion, but you also need to counterbalance that by doing some cross training. You need to make sure, when I say cross training, it's not about high intensity sprints and muscle ups or anything like that. It's not CrossFit. When I say cross training, we need to train the foot in another sport or another movement pattern that counterbalances things that your sport
creates different movement patterns that allow the feet to function with what it's designed to do, right?
Exactly.
One good historical thing that's happened in the past. If you ever think about runners in the marathon, runners in Olympics, there's always been a domination of runners from Kenya, right? Or different parts of Africa. And there was a documentary that was made out there where they actually looked and see how they were training. And guess what they were doing?
Barefoot running.
They were running barefoot on sand, on dirt, and
experiencing different environments.
Right. And they were, performing tip-top performance levels.
Yeah.
And so that's just a prime example of how the body can adapt. And if it's allowed to function the way it's designed and be able to enhance it, you can actually have high levels of performance and not have to experience any, rigidity or pain in your feet or, having any kind of limitations or restrictions. So that's just a great, an example of how the body is so amazing. And if we just not allow any restrictions on it, especially with the shoes, then we should be able to experience good performance.
So what's the solution? The solution is
go barefoot.
Go barefoot, walk around barefoot, train in different environments,
yeah.
With your feet. And if you're wearing heels and you can't get away from that, you can't escape that because that's part of a uniform or whatever it is.
Try to relieve yourself from it. Don't wear it all the time. Vary it. Give them variations, different heights, different. And again, look at the toe box. Is it always restricting your toes and your feet? Try to
train your foot
and train your foot from being in such a rigid environment.
And with a couple things that you can do is you can do self-massage with a foam roller or lacrosse ball. You can strengthen it by piano toes. You can try to move your toes around. You can even grab your feet and you can start stretching it and moving it around.
Yeah.
And then putting it in different environments is going to probably be key for you to decrease all of that dysfunction that you may have, or that inflammation, that pain in your lower back. The more you get away from the things that limit your movement, the more you're going to be able to experience better movement.
Right.
If you guys like what we did here today, let us know. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, make sure that you guys send it down or write it down at the bottom here. We are here to help you guys move better. Like, subscribe, share. Thanks, you guys. We'll see you guys next time.